Shelby isn't done with Quentin yet, and neither is Harper for that matter. And Lance won't be able to sex his way out of grief, but I guess for him, nothing beats a failure but a try. What's good, y'all? Welcome to Erica Main TV, the main channel for your good sis you love to talk TV with. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my The Best Man final chapter videos. And I think you're gonna love it here as we take this final dive into the final installments of the Best Man franchise. Also, I have Erica Main TV 2, my second and equally poppin' channel where we are dropping more heat, having dope informal conversations, and giving you more content because there's never too much, right? So go ahead, jump down in the description box, click the link, and subscribe to the second channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first episode of this limited series, y'all, because The Best Man Final Chapters is definitely a limited series. It's an interesting follow-up, a third installment, if you will, in the Best Man franchise, which is typically a film franchise, currently streaming on Peacock, if you did not know. The first episode was interesting. I can tell already that this is not actually meant to be a show, but a really long movie. And I ain't mad at it because Peacock did drop all 8 episodes all at once so that you can binge them, and it works. I think they needed more time to be able to finish up the story for all of our favorite The Best Man characters, and why not spend 8 hours doing it? The first episode was funny. It was interesting. It definitely reintegrated us back into their world, giving us a little bit of slice of life of everybody, but not diving us too deep into the drama. Like, the most dramatic moment, I think, is at the very end of this episode. Spoiler alert. Shelby pops up at the wedding that she was uninvited to. But let me start from the beginning and just run through some of the things that actually are happening. So in this episode, Quentin is getting married to Xiomara, I don't know this lady's last name, played by Nicole Ari Parker so beautifully. She's called the unicorn in the series, but she's basically this super poppin' black woman who has been able to traverse multiple industries, find huge success, has a huge celebrity, and she's a little bit eclectic. And that's me being very graceful with my description, okay? Because something going on with mama, something wrong with mama, but I don't know too much just yet, so I ain't gonna do too much with her, right? And we find out that Quentin is getting married. Well, we knew he's getting married from the last movie. Well, we get the details at the top of this episode because we start off with Shelby, who had a meltdown that was caught on her reality show when she first finds out that Quentin is getting married. And when we are thrust into the episode, or thrust into the story, we actually have a cameo from Andy Cohen, who is asking her to recall this and then tell the world on Watch What's Happened Live how she feels about it. And of course, she's lying about it. The fact, like, it's very clear that Shelby still wants Q, as she is like on Jordan's head about where's the wedding happening? What resort is it going to be at? Because she's completely uninvited. When Jordan actually arrives there, she is literally calling her nonstop. And then, of course, by the end, she pops up. And I think that she's only able to do this because she FaceTimes Jordan, and then she's able to, like, Jordan shows her the room. And I'm totally, like, it's not beneath Shelby to be like, oh, okay, this is where the room is. Let me go ahead and search the Caribbean resorts, because they're basically having a wedding at Quentin's family's resort, one of them. And there are only 8 of them. So all she had to do was go look at the website, go look up the rooms, and do bop, 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 book the ticket. And I guess so, Shelby. If this is your man, honey, go get your man, boo. Because it definitely feels like something is going on in reference to this pending marriage, this relationship. It don't seem quite right. And I ain't advocating for home wrecking. But also, let's not get married to the wrong person. Now, the question that came up for me immediately was like, wait a minute, didn't they allude to the fact that Quentin was actually Shelby's baby daddy and not her divorced ex-husband or her ex-husband? That is a question that does not actually get answered in this first episode, so we just kind of have to keep watching to see like how tied together Quentin and Shelby are. And it's like left for you to assume that it's a no, because I'm like, if that's his daughter, why wouldn't he have his daughter there and then by proxy have his daughter's mom there? But Shelby is completely like uninvited. She is completely crashing this wedding by the end of the episode, so it's not actually clear. Also, what we learned in the top of this episode is that Harper's book Unfinished Business is getting a movie offer, and he's like really concerned and like not sure if he wants to do it. One, because this book actually created so much drama and trauma, which we saw in the first movie, The Best Man, in all of their lives, and he just completely handled it wrong and he don't want to go back down that road. But then also he has found such really great success as an author, but he feels like the work that he's been doing has been very trite and not true to maybe literal or literature highbrowness. It not to say that he wants his work to be elite, but he just feels like his work is trivial and he's just doing a bunch of stuff to make money and not doing anything that's really, really impactful. And part of the concern is like, if he creates a movie around this book, will it just be more of that? And then later on, he also reveals to Jordan, like, people say that the movie is always better than the book, and he's scared of how that is. So he's dealing with a bunch of things in that regard in reference to this movie offer. I think that it's actually brilliant, and all the skeletons have been pulled out of the closet at this point. Y'all have already suffered the trauma around it, so why not actually make an extra coin due to it? Because it will definitely make for a really great book. I mean, a really great movie. But he's struggling, and in this first episode he has to like reveal to everybody, or like basically let everybody know, and he wants to get everybody's blessing. And the main person who blessing that he actually needs to get is Lance, because of course the big bombshell about him sleeping with Mia was a thing that like tore the whole friend group apart and really put Lance and Harper's relationship in a rocky place where they didn't necessarily think that they were going to come back from when the book first came out. So of course we can assume that he's going to be stepping on eggshells to go and tell Lance, especially after the loss of Mia. Now, speaking about Lance, our good chocolate brother, it's not really clear. Let me actually look, because it might be. Hey y'all, Editing Erica here, and I just wanted to interject really quickly because after watching, I was able to make heads and tails about the timeline. We are actually in 2015 at this point. The series does do a bunch of jumping around, and they have like quick title cards to show us the year. And at first, when I first recorded this, I actually missed it, so I was a little bit lost in the sauce. But this is 2015, and we are kind of like fast tracking up to 2022, where the crux of a lot of things happen, and then by the very end of the series 2024, that we got to see the very preview at the very beginning. So when we see 2024 on screen, it's actually showing us where we're going to end up, and now we're watching to see how we actually got there, and all of the time from the Best Man holiday jumping right into the wedding, which happens right after the Best Man holiday, and then the 9 or 10 years that all of the things transpire that bring us to this big moment for Harper in 2024. So just a little quick editor's note, I have a few of these popping in because I did go through and I binge watched the show, I binge recorded, gave you guys my initial thoughts. Again, check ericavane.com for the full reviews with additional notes and things like that, because that will be up as well if you want additional clarity. But I will be popping these editor notes in here just so that I can clarify a little bit. But like, back into the video. And in this time, child, Lance has been using his body as a grief weapon. I don't even know how else to describe it. He is running through everything. And the first thing I thought when Murch and Harper shows up at the hotel to like tell him, you need to come to this wedding, you need to get it together, the first thing I thought was like, where are your kids? Don't you have 4 kids and you're widowed? Like, how are you up here with these women doing what you're doing, opening the door with your robe open like it's a random lackadaisical Tuesday, as if you don't have 4 kids and you are widowed, sir? What is actually going on? And we don't actually know where his kids are. Jordan alludes to like supporting them, and like she's the godmom, so of course she's gonna be there, but we don't actually get to see her with them in this episode. We don't get to see him with them in this episode. We pretty much only get to see Lance with the fellas or with some hoochies. and that's it, that's all, because he's struggling. I think for me, I was a little annoyed with his character up until we get to the end where he does the switch up with Harper. So like when Harper initially tells him about the movie, he's like, oh, congratulations, shout out to you. But then he has a moment while Xiomara and Quentin are doing their whole little ring ceremony. They're getting tattoos or whatever, and Xiomara is like doing her little speech. Lance has a moment where he's like taken back and has all these memories of Mia and what it was like to marry her, and like just really starts to go through a very serious grief episode, not only for his wife that he lost, but the whole life that they had that he also lost. And then I think that this is what causes the little switch in his brain. So when he gets back to the table with Harper, he like, yeah, Harper's always been on some BS, and like he basically comes at him for this book, lashes out. And I feel like the strongest dialogue, the part that made me actually like, all right, Lance, I can actually rock with you, was he was talking about how he did not want to come here so that he could be reminded about everything that he lost. And then also he has a line that he says after Harper says that he wanted to get everybody's blessing to move forward with the book turning into a movie, and Lance says, well, Mia's dead, so how you gonna do that? And I was like, okay, there's a person in here, not just a walking little chocolate stick that's trying to poke everything that's moving. Even though the concierge, I don't know if her name is Jasmine or Dominique, I swear I thought her name was Dominique at the top, and then when he calls her Jasmine, I don't know if it's like a thing to like he didn't actually remember her name or not, but whatever. This little chocolate lovely sister that's put in charge of like the group and giving them everything that they need, she's timing up for him. I can already see it. Something's brewing with them. She's gonna be able to keep him in check, but she's also very cognizant of his grief. Even though he's acting a monkey fool, like jumping into the public pool in the middle of the resort, completely naked in the middle of the day, she got time for him. But basically, for me, I was not necessarily feeling Lance's character up until he revealed that, like feeling like he didn't want to come and be reminded of everything that he lost, and then him calling out Harper like, you can't get everybody's okay because everybody's not here. Like that's something that resonated with me very deeply. And I felt like it was finally something real from him, because up until that point we had just been seeing him sleep with a bunch of people and complain about life and not check on his kids. And I was just like, I get the whole grieving process, I get that you're a widow now, but you also was this like strong leader and you have 4 kids. So like, what about your, like, I think I might have spent a lot of time like, what about your kids? What about your kid? Like, what is happening while you are doing this, while you are behaving like a child in this way? And I don't know, I might have a bias to like men using sex as their like workaround for their feelings, because I think it's the stupidest thing ever. It never actually works for y'all, and the fact that y'all go there is so trite. Like, I'm like, pick another vice, pick something else, because this is cliche AF, but whatever. Anyway, it took until Lance like got pissed with Harper and storms off and then reveals his true feelings and something real tied to the grief, aside from him just keeping like having sex with all these women, for me to actually like his character. Jordan, while she's beautiful, Nia Long continues to give. I'm like, is this going to just forever be the single black woman that just works too damn much? Because that's all it's giving. And even with this whole how Stella got the groove back storyline that they setting up for her, with this little handsome chocolate brother popping up at the restaurant trying to give her his swordfish and taking pictures of her impromptu while she's walking around the resort working alone, I'm just like, I need something else. What happened with Brian? We get to know, like she says Brian didn't work out, but it wasn't forever love. But what happened with Brian? Because it was given that y'all should have actually made it, honey. What is going on with you? And it can't just be your friendship with Shelby, because that's not enough, at least not for me. And then her and Harper have a couple of moments, like you can see that they're still close, best friends, cool. She's cool with Robyn, cool. But then also I'm like looking at them and I'm like, after kid and marriage in some years, is there still something there? Like, I gotta figure out, or I'm like searching to figure out what is going on with Jordan, because it can't just be you are a C-suite boss bitch that can't find nobody to consistently love her romantically. I mean, you have your friends and your family, cool, but like romantically, I'm over it, and I cannot wait to see what her story is going to be as we finish out this franchise. Merch. Everybody is true to character, so I will say that, y'all. Like, the first episode, again, it gives us a slice of life from everybody. Murch and Candace are still educators. They are winning, you know, Innovative Educators of the Year awards, but Murch is more consumed with the fact that he was not selected to be Q's best man, which I do think that that was a little slight, but I also feel like Q did that as like a red flag or a sign as well, because something is up. At first you don't really get it, but then as the episode goes on, it's clear that something is off with Q. And it's not just that he gave up weed and that he's moving to Tibet, but like something is off with his vibes. His daddy kind of like really sends up the red flag for me, or like the first red flag when he comes into the little groomsmen meetup brunch, whatever they doing, and he's talking about the contracts with ZMR's people need to be signed. And I'm like, okay, so this is your first order of business. As soon as you land at your son's wedding festivities, something is up. If your first order of business is actually business in this very personal moment, then something is up. And apparently ZMR is going to wind up being the face of all of their like family business, the Spivey properties, and Quentin is taking over, like stepping up to take over the lead for all of that, even though he also has a successful agency. He got a lot going on. Yes, and something ain't right with it. Like, yes, it could seem really cool on paper, y'all, and it's like, okay, super successful, fine woman, well accomplished, with a fine, well accomplished, as well as guy in line to inherit quite a bit. They could use their, you know, their privilege, their proximity to wealth, their image and likeness that has such notoriety together to benefit one another. Okay, cool. But then what about the love? Because it's not giving actual love. It's giving you like this girl, Quentin, but it's not giving love, honey. Unicorn or not, it's not giving love. And I love the first meeting. Like, so when we get to meet Quentin's fiance, everybody arrives at the resort and they greet them. And it's kind of off to a rocky start because she plays at this whole like insecure, ooh, you think you know me because you see me on TV. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's her. But it was actually a joke. And I thought that was brilliant. Like, they really disarm us really quickly with ZMR's character, and we don't actually know her. By the end of episode 1, we have no idea which version of her is the real her and what we're going to get, what Quentin's marrying and why he's marrying her. Now, he does do a semi-good job of talking to Harper about how he really struggled after Mia's death, and he struggled watching all of his friends in very happy and successful marriages, wondering if this was it, if he was going to die alone. And ZMR came in at the perfect time and gave him love and whatever that he needed. So that sounds good again on paper, but also like something about it, I just don't feel or see it, y'all. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't feel or see it. I don't. Do y'all? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while I'm taking a very quick pause so that y'all can let me know in the comment section down below, if you are enjoying this video, hit those like and subscribe buttons so that you don't miss out on any more of my The Best Man videos the moment that I post them, and so that you stay up to date on the latest and hottest in television and film. The combo don't stop with The Best Man, y'all. Now, going back to Murch, because I like went off on a tangent. Murch and Candace are seemingly doing well, but his obsession by the end of the episode with Q and with being Q's best man sends Candace running, because he seems way more aligned and attached to his relationship with Quentin than he does his marriage. And that's unfortunate, because Candace has been standing by his side, has propped him up, and has helped him become the man that he is. And with the whole little joke of like, oh, you should just go ahead and marry Quentin, and then him like actually considering it and coming up with this cute name, I'm like, I can understand. Like, I'm not taking him seriously, but I can understand her frustration, because she's had to deal with him whining about this best man position, trying to outdo Harper, and just being ridiculous when there's so much work to be done within their marriage and what they have going on. Like, this is supposed to be the perfect opportunity away from the kids for them to reconnect and prioritize themselves in their relationship, because they're always prioritizing their school and the kids. And then here he is running around strung out for the idea of being the new best man once Harper gets fired as best man, and being right up under Quentin. Like, sir, Quentin's not the one helping you run the school. Quentin's not the one laying up next to you at night. Quentin's not the one raising your damn kids. What are we doing? But y'all, Murch is gonna be Murch. That's pretty much what Candace and Murch are giving. I'm not really expecting too much, by the way, of Candace's character. We might wind up getting another fight with Shelby, because Shelby walks in and like, Julian, as a little nostalgic callback, which I love that. Like, they have so many elements in this episode where they are like hinting to they are sending the series off, and I love that. I think it's brilliant. I don't think that Shelby and Candace gonna fight, but hey, maybe. Another very quick editor's note. I meant that Candace is not going to leave Murch, not Quentin. That was a misspeak. Sorry. Back to the video. Aside from that, I don't really see too much happening. I don't think that she's gonna leave Quentin, because she love him. He's frustrated, but she ain't gonna leave him. Now, Robyn. I don't know, y'all, but from the very first Best Man, something about Robyn and Harper read Consolation Prize. I know, it might not make sense, but something about it does. And like, watching them at the start of the episode gave me a little bit of cringe, because he's like getting off the phone with his agent. He's all organized in his little library. He got his standing desk, and then he comes down to her and the baby in the kitchen, and she's like running this like mail orders business or something. She's doing really well, but she's trying to do everything herself, and he wants to hire help, and she's like a mess, and she's literally like the hippy dippy girl to his pulled together, well manicured man. And it just, I know that she loves him, I believe that he loves her, but they don't mesh as well as you kind of will want them to. And that to me was very evident in that first scene. She is 100% supportive. I personally feel like maybe I'm thinking that Robyn deserves better. Is that what I'm thinking? I don't know. Not too much happens with them in the first episode, but like, I feel the same feelings that I had in the first movie, where Harper was very preoccupied with what his homies had going on, with his book, with his life, and then like Robyn just kind of is there. And then when he is involved in her life, he's only interjecting to like point out how she needs to change things and how she's doing things wrong. And again, that just gives me like feelings. With her in this episode, we get to see a moment where she connects with like a local chef, which I think is really, really cool. Hopefully this chef is going to give her ideas on better ways to run her business, because the chef was like running this like restaurant on the beach for like the last 20 years and has really great recipes, and seems much more organized than Robyn when Robyn is actually doing it. So maybe that will help. But I'm starting to think, and again, don't mind me, because part of my mind when I'm watching the first episode is like, okay, what we about to get in this whole first season, or this whole like season? So I'm automatically thinking like, where are these people going to go? And I don't know if Robyn and Harper are going to make it. I don't know. And I also don't have a ton of evidence to back it up just by the first episode, but I'm just telling y'all my thoughts. I hope you enjoying them, you know? What else did I miss? That's pretty much it. That's all that's really happening in the first episode. Lance is hitting a bunch of randoms constantly, whether in America or on this Caribbean island. Jordan is getting hit on by random strangers and doing too much work. Murch is too obsessed with Quentin. Candace is also focused on work in this speech to a certain extent. Shelby pops up at the very end. Episode 1 was given. It was given good episode. Some of the dialogue and different points, I was like, it's an interesting mix between like topical phrases and sayings with a little bit of like solid story building dialogue. But you can see that they were really trying to hit this generation or hit this time frame and play to people who are consuming a ton of social media and all of the things that happen over there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Did y'all know Erica Vane TV is growing, and now we have Erica Vane TV 2? Link in the description box, so head over there and give the second and equally dope channel a subscribe. And now it's your turn. Drop down in the comment section and let me know what you thought about the Best Man Final Chapters, episode 1. You know I'm coming with episode 2, 3, 4, all 8 episodes I will be talking about. And then I think I'm going to do a full video to talk about the Best Man franchise. Subscribe so that you don't miss out. But then also let me know your thoughts, theories, predictions in the comment section down below. I will respond. It's your good sis, you know to talk TV with, and I'm going to see you in the next one.
You hit my line, you probably prayed for that. Gave you a couple nights. promise you never take back. Didn't mean to gas you up.